Today is July 12th, 2022. I woke up a little while ago. This boobie is smaller than this one. It bothers me. Why does the appearance bother me? Staring at myself for so many hours is actually it's not necessarily detrimental to my psyche, but there are times where I get super overwhelmed because I'm thinking you're so hideous. You didn't get the advantages that other girls got because you weren't pretty enough. It wasn't that you weren't smart enough, and it also might be due to your genetics that you didn't get certain advantages. So I actually was reading through my paperwork for my gynecologist, booklet of the procedures that they have done for me and everything, and all the information about essentially my gynecological needs in that way. And I was looking through here too, and noticed that it said something about there's percentages in here of some type of percentages of the rate of detection in certain ethnicities, and I'm not sure how to take those yet. I have to do more research, but there was a segment here where it had stated something about Fragile X syndrome, and then it says on here, I guess my chromosome 30 and 39 repeats. So, but it says negative for being a carrier, not a carrier for Fragile X expansion mutation. I realized that they were monitoring everybody's genetic codes in order to manipulate certain individuals because either they were inadequate to, and I say those people watching, those people that have access to our medical records, have access to us, have access to our educational and criminal records, and are able to manipulate them for others to see, those higher ups that control things that, might be part of the, criminal investigation agency or whatever it's called. I don't know, CIA, whatever it's called. And then the Federal Bureau of Investigations or whatnot. Why do I care? I don't do much wrong. I mean, I know I come from a family that has done some fucked up shit, but I also know that it wasn't anything that was tampering with a lot of other individuals. So I'm frustrated. I don't know why I'm carrying a child at this time. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. I know why. And it was because I spoke too much to certain people. That I was talking to too many people about the things that had gone on in my life. I wasn't disclosing it on a mass level like I am now, or trying to disperse my story. And I guess it needed to be out there. I guess the fact that, being monitored and traced and tracked and viewed at all times, such as the Truman Show, which I never watched, mind you, but I did watch the movie with Mel Gibson, Conspiracy Theory, and it was spot on for some of this shit that has gone on even in my reality, where I've dealt with personally, where things were manipulated, and they kept me confined in these psychiatric hospitals for longer than I was supposed to be in there. And they told me that they weren't testing on me. They told me they weren't injecting me with stuff, but they were. And I knew not to trust anyone. I knew that when I was alone in my room, that they could still monitor me. I knew there were no cameras. No, not visible cameras. No. But of course, some things can't be seen by the naked eye. Some things can't be seen because they like to place things into areas that are the size of a pinhead. They've given us that information. They understand. So they monitor us better than we even know, majority of the time. And they know who's lying. They know what's up. They know, that's why the audio wasn't on my last video. Because for some reason, I have a Lenovo laptop. It's nearly brand new. I purchased it approximately, a year, 2 years ago. The very first video that I had done was in the park there, and I tried to disclose my story of weight loss and how I did it through holistic means as opposed to their nonsense of pharmaceuticals. And of course, when someone starts speaking out about that, truths and facts, and, the differences between, the ends of the spectrum in that way of how manipulated we are in this day and age, all the fast food, all the toxic foods, everything is convenient for us and convenient to kill us in that way, force us into the grave quicker. And that's why our generation, even like the millennials, realize that there is no hiding. There is no advancement if they don't say you can advance. So I decided I would refrain from all the fast food. I would eat healthfully. I would try to cook as many fresh fruits and vegetables as possible, or eat them raw as much as possible as well, because that's where the real nutrient value is in those live plants and everything. So I've just been chronicling my life, and I realized that this baby is going to be healthier than a majority of the people that are pumping out kids that don't place efforts into their children. And I even woke up this morning to a video where a woman was a pretty blonde lady, and she's, crying to the camera saying, like, pray for me and my babies. And it's like, I guess she's a vlogger as well. 44,000 views at that time on that video. And I'm thinking, oh, that's nice. I understand why she gets so many privileges, because she's pretty. Oh, and she came from a wholesome family, or even if she didn't come from a wholesome family, she lies about it, and she makes people perceive things about her that aren't factual. Or maybe she's not, just because they're pretty doesn't mean they're smart, but that doesn't necessarily mean they should be breeding, just because aesthetics have nothing to do with the overall, health and well-being of the future generations. So even as ugly as I am, maybe I'm a little bit better of a parent than most people I've noticed, because of my techniques, because of my ability to maintain everything all at once, because of my slight, and I believe, autisms that they never actually diagnosed me with, and I should have been labeled as disabled since I was a child. And I was watching something about Mozart and how they thought he was an idiot savant, but they had found letters that he had written, and it clearly shows that he was stable. Well, that's not necessarily true. I actually thought that, with myself, I thought I was normal. I thought that I was doing well because I could keep up with everybody else and then some. I always did that extra 10%, or whatever. Place the efforts because I had the time, because I had a moment to reflect, and I actually get a lot of my tasks done immediately so I can sit and reflect. So I can sit and reflect during these tasks, and I can do them properly. I don't like to half-ass anything. So, and that'll get me back around to the pregnancy. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm ranting this morning, but at the same time, I have a lot to disclose because the audio on my last video wasn't working, and now I have to reread the affidavit because I'm not going to let that go. I want everyone to understand there are people out there that are still disabled. There are people out there that can still manage to function like normal, but yet they're not normal. They're not normal to you. We're unusual. We're advanced in some areas, but then less advanced in others. And they said Mozart was an idiot savant. And the things that he had written clearly showed him being normal, And what is normal? What is normal? We're all on some end of the fucking spectrum. There's who is normal? Who's in between? Who's able to function properly? You have the genetics for it. They understand. They've done research on it. The genetic coding for all of that stuff to understand these things on a better, level. So anyway, I wanted to read the affidavit because I know that is very relevant to the entire story. And it's very relevant that I should have had to go and pursue my doctor's records, pursue all of this information to acknowledge how much testing was done and I wasn't notified of. all the things that were a violation of my constitutional rights and freedoms because of the fact that I was not notified clearly of the certain analytics, the certain tests, the certain levels, the certain, they don't explain half the things that they do to us. And veterans, they understand that because they were pumped full of stuff when they entered the Army or Navy, whatever, military in some form. And I knew that I enjoyed their stories. I even watched a movie with a clip of, what's his name? Handsome man. Oh, the movie, what's his, Hemsworth or whatever. Yeah, that guy. Anyway, handsome. And he was, in the Army and they were in Iraq or whatever, and then all the crazy stuff that was going on in their movie. I was busy doing something else, but I'd seen a couple moments of it, and they shot the girl in front of the little girls because they were educating them, and I thought, oh my God, like, in this day and age, why are people acting in such a manner to not recognize that we're all human? You know, it's because of the heat, probably. They're super crazy. They don't get the opportunities to sit there and work on themselves because they always have to worry about survival. And in our reality here in the U.S., everything is sort of, like I said, convenient. Everything is at your fingertips. Everything is, just offered to us in a way that, I mean, you have to be questionable sometimes whether or not it is something that is going to be beneficial or not. But now that we have so many like electrical malfunctions throughout the grids and everything, and we realize when everything goes awry, when we can't access the internet, when we can't do certain things, that we're helpless at times. And a majority of us that are like millennials are sort of in between that stage because we learned about electronics and the internet later on in our lives. Like, I was already in elementary school and thereafter in high school when I started being able to access the internet in that way, and getting cell phones and having those on us at all times. And, I talked about the tracking and tracing, how that affects our brains. It really does. And that's why I've done the research on my own. And I'm just sort of relaying it in between the stresses that I have in my life, the stressors that I have in my life. So the things I was disclosing on my last video were about my meeting with my psychologist, who informed me that he wouldn't mind if we would continue to video our sessions again. And I also disclosed that although, I was just talking about the town of Hot Springs, Arkansas, and the different nefarious things that go on around here, and sex trafficking and the casino and how it draws in all the negative, yet there are people healthful, looking to pursue their health. They come here to hike as well because of the area, but then they're avoidant because of the fact that there are so many toxic individuals that manipulate others. Just like the people that I tell you manipulate, like the audio on my stuff. Who does that? Like, are you okay? Are you stable mentally? Because I'm just trying to live. I'm just trying to be myself, and I feel as though a lot of my constitutional rights have been violated, like due to my privacy and everything, and I should be suing the United States of America. But I'm just saying, I'm an idiot savant, I guess. I guess I don't know what I'm doing. I guess it's just how it is. I guess God guides me in that way because I detached so many times as a child that I just can't function in this day and age. I can't. It's abnormal for me to follow along with whatever, compliant, sheepish behaviors, that, and I say sheepish, as in the sense of being sheep. Bah! I just can't, there's no way. I can't deal with stupidity. I don't know what's going on. I went to parochial school for a reason, so that I could be highly educated as an ugly girl, as a poor girl, as someone that comes from nothing. But God saved me in that way. God put the effort into me, and I realized that. I realized how blessed I am as that little girl that walked through the halls of those areas, because I was able to be educated more than this, like one of the girls that was asked to spell giraffe, and she spelled it correctly. That's a tough word for a small child, you know? Regardless, these things happen in our day and age. That's why I'm just sharing my story, because I'm not going to place more efforts into the world around me than it's placing into me. Okay? And if Loki meows again, I'll let him back in. But, okay. So, I'd like to read the affidavit. Hopefully I won't choke up and cry this time, because in the last video, a lot of this hit me hard because I hadn't slept very well for the last few days. I was sleeping 4 or 5 hours per night, and that wasn't good for me. I was very drained, but I actually wrote this entire thing in the span of approximately 24 hours. Like, I started at 8 a.m., ended around 8, 9 a.m. the following day, which was yesterday, before heading over to the to the library to go in and print it off. So, as I was finishing it up, I realized there are a couple of revisions I would like to do personally, but I did take this to my psychologist, and he will sign off on it to understand that this is my perception of the events that had happened, that transpired in order to cause this pregnancy and cause this this violation of my constitutional efforts to place a report, file a rape report against the man that impregnated me. Because I am not about to disillusion myself to the fact that I might be able to keep a child when I have no financial means to do so. Okay, even my psychologist said it would be beneficial if I kept the child, but for my psychological well-being, because he knows what a great and caring person I am, and as a mother, and he would back me in court for sure, in the sense that what had happened with signing over the rights to my daughter was not normal. I was on a lot of psychiatric medications. I was forced into doing so, and I didn't even wake up until like years after that fact. And when I was seeking out guidance and sending messages, everyone revoked that, or said that I was abusing and harassing them. No. Stealing a child is abuse and harassment. Leaving 2 loaded guns with a woman that you deemed mentally ill, that's sick and distorted, and that's harassment, and as well as neglect. So if you don't see that, and how much I should have gotten as a alimony to this, and I should have been the one to be able to raise my child, I was not necessarily stable at that moment, and that's why everyone was able to manipulate me in the situation and coerce me into doing things like not showing up to the divorce hearing. I didn't show up then. When you're dealing with a disabled person, there should always be a public defender there. I was not granted a public defender when I was placed in the jail at Garland County the first time, approximately 2 years ago, when everyone presumed I was fine, but maybe I'm just an idiot savant and know how to write well and know how to, act well in that way. And I'm not acting at all. This is just my life. So the fact that people get confused about that is confusing for me, and I have to wonder about their mental stabilities, because it makes no sense to me. You clearly had an abused person that was disabled, that couldn't speak out, and you didn't get them a public defender at the time of the court proceedings. I had no idea what was going on. They were frightened of me, because all I was doing was spewing out the things that I liked and enjoyed and were a part of my being growing up, the things that I remember and recall, which were the words of God. And who wants to deal with that when a girl is over there praying in her cell and, wrapping herself in a towel or in the thing trying to protect herself, and she's looking like the fucking Virgin Mary over there. She hasn't done shit wrong to anybody in her criminal record. All that's ever been displayed is any type of interactions with men that have abused me. And instead, they turned it around on me as if I was hyper aggressive, and I've never been hyper aggressive. My entire life, I've known that violence is ignorant. That, excuse me, that's it. Violence, in that way. So I feel bad that I've gotten to this point where I'm violently having to, verbally accost everyone. I don't need to go around reprimanding everyone or reproaching people when in actuality, it's like you need to just get your shit together. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what's going on with your brain, but I'm done. That's why I have to talk this way now. Never did I do that. I just held everything inside. When my ex-husband divorced me, he was still fucking me for 2 months after the divorce. So you're going to tell me he was scared of me? You're going to tell me that he deserved restraining orders? Hell no. You need to get your shit together, Hot Springs, Arkansas, because something's going on and you don't realize it. And that's why I had to disclose my story in such a way that made me look crazy. And in actuality, I'm not. Like I am, but I'm not. Everybody's got a little bit of crazy in them. So, you eating your burgers, you over there, having a milkshake and having all this toxic food and smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol, that's mental illness. Do you understand that? That's a detachment as well. You're not recognizing, and I'll have these conversations with people. They're like, yeah, I totally understand. Do they? No, they don't alter their reality whatsoever. They're still eating the animal products that are laced with additives. They're still eating all these toxic artificial things. They're still putting these artificial substances on their bodies, and it's seeping into their pores and into their brain, and causing dementia, causing this, what is that? What is the word? Delirium in that way, whatever. And it's just like, I have no idea why you have to stop me from being able to preach when in actuality it's your stupidity that created me. Like, understanding that I was going to understand at some point what the fuck was going on with me, and I should be able to sue you bitches. I should be having fucking millions of dollars so I can tend to my child. And my other child, where is she? Where's my Tootsie? Where's my 10-year-old? Oh, I haven't seen her in 6 years because your words, because you allowed this man to manipulate the situation so well that he placed it on the fucking divorce decree that I had no rights whatsoever to my child, yet I was still supporting her financially and sending gifts and sending love and everything like that and offering my peace. And then last year, I was forced to have to feed fucking the Social Security Administration $4,316 back because within those years' times, that's the accumulation of money they had offered me toward my child, and my ex-husband lied and said that he never received anything, any financial support. No. There are clearly witnesses to this stuff, and you are going to end up getting in trouble for fraud because that's lying to the U.S. government. I've explained this so many times. He's lied the entire time. He manipulated me. Why wouldn't he do it to everyone else? He told me even when he moved in with me and he was homeless. He had no job. And we met and we talked for a month. And then all of a sudden I was so compassionate. I was like, sure, stay with me. Like, I don't mind. So we built a relationship off of that, and that was not good. That was trauma bonding right there because he was going through shit. I was going through shit. He was 2 years younger than me, 2 years younger than I. And then all of a sudden, he ended up stealing from me. I placed all the efforts. I fed him. I housed him, all these things. Yet it was me he ended up destroying when he left me for dead. And stole the most valuable thing I could have ever created in my entire life. A child, after having lost two children prior due to, the forceful efforts of the man that, when I had to abort and then miscarry his child. And then he ran away to Europe, knowing that he would inevitably get in trouble for forcing a woman into getting an abortion. So, and he was former military as well, mind you. So I was just always open. Still am pretty open. If you want to tell me your story, if you want to try to manipulate me, go for it. I've already had it happen numerous times by the people I thought loved me. And I thought I loved them because I thought God placed them into my life. And I had to step back and realize that that was Satan, that that was actually the devil playing tricks on me, and that I needed to just wait, be celibate, be, to myself. I've had sex during the time of this pregnancy. Four times total. And well, five if you include Thomas, which was the first one. And that was 2 days prior to the engagement with, technically, if you add it up, I had sex with Jason twice. So if you look at it, it would be 6 times. So, and the one person I had, it was sort of like one session, I would say. We didn't even finish up. So it went Thomas, then it went Jason, and some random dude in Little Rock, because I wanted to kill myself. I didn't give a shit if I ended up with an STD or not, and it'll disclose that in this affidavit as well. And then one that I didn't mention in the affidavit, which was in between the time of the 9th of December and the 22nd of December, where he actually called me, or his name is Drew, and he actually messaged me on my phone asking if I was okay. And I was like, I don't want to talk to you. All that time, he was trying to be nice, gave me space in his home. He would go to work. I would just stay there and hang out. And we did it one time. Maybe twice that we got sort of intimate in that way, but we knew we weren't compatible because I just couldn't get along intellectually with him. I just couldn't. Everything I was saying was clearly going over his head. And I feel really bad because I'm like, do I have to date like this? Do I have to date in the South? Do I have to date here? Do I have to date at all? Do I have to create children for God? And it's like, what the fuck? I understand how important my genetics are for the future in that way, but I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe that you're fucking with me. I don't want to believe that any of this was, forced upon me because of whatever frequencies you forced into other people, and we were made to engage because of our chemistries. I don't like to think of that. I don't like that at all. I thought everything was supposed to be more organic and more natural in that way. But that's why I refrained from online dating unless I just wanted to be promiscuous at times where, after my divorce, there were times where I got on online dating and was just seeking the D. And really I wasn't, because I knew to refrain unless it was a suitable person that was more than likely not that sexually active and more than likely not that, and I tried to engage with them intellectually and on sort of that level, but it never worked out because these people are not that smart. So, let's see if this boob is it's bothering me that it's so much it's crammed in and looks all crooked. Okay. So, anyway, these individuals, I have plenty of character witnesses that know, and even after I stopped talking to Drew, he's, it was 8 months later, he's still talking to me, asking me, and I blamed him. I told him, I was like, I felt like I was in a very vulnerable state when I went over to your house, and I felt like you took advantage of me in that way because I was very vulnerable mentally, and I was very unstable, and later on I found out I was pregnant. And I told him, I was like, well, you're definitely not the father because this is way after, the ovulation time and implantation time. And I'll get into that in my affidavit. But I don't know why you guys keep doing this shit to me. Can I just not have my money and go disappear? That would be nice. I don't want to be on camera anymore. You people suck. You already owe me a shit ton of stuff. And I was stating, too, about the articles that weren't returned to me, that chi was $100. That was a $100 chi, a straightener. So, you've stolen over $200 just in that incident. You also stole my phone at one point when I was naked and in my storage unit, and you said you were going to maintain my phone and my keys. I never got those articles back. The officers that detained me and everything. Well, they didn't detain me. They sent me off to the psychiatric hospital because I was naked in a storage unit. And I was dancing around on the street. I was walking naked halfway to my storage unit because I was freaking out coming off of psychiatric medications that were pumped into me and all this other stuff too. And it takes years sometimes for that to progressively wear off. So I'm just glad that I haven't had any outbursts like that in a while because of whatever additives were in my system. And I've been as clean as I can be from the pharmaceuticals, from any type of additives. I've been eating a vegan diet for the last 2.5 years. And I know now when I come in contact with certain things and how I'm going to react. So I do apologize that this is a lengthy video. I tried to disclose a few of the things that I might have said in my video prior, but the audio wasn't there. So now I'm going to have to put that on there, audible. Like, my alliteration for my titles is amazing. Get away from me. Like, can I just be myself? Can I just be creative? Can I just not write and just have my own home in a little cottage somewhere where there's huge plots of land and I can have my family over and shit and save my mother at the very least? But no. And who cares? And like I tell people too, I realize anything that I love could be taken from me at any moment. And I understood that when my dog's head was missing one day. And I knew my pit bull had been around her for 10 fucking years. They never had an incident. The pit bull was 11 years old. The poodle was 12 years old. And you literally want me to believe that she gnawed her head off and consumed it? No. The poodle was 8 pounds. The head was this fucking big. And why would my pit bull do that when she's constantly fed? There's always food everywhere. When heightened states of aggression in pit bulls, I can understand. My pit bull was never like that. My pit bull was never like that. So when I informed the officers to check my home because I didn't want to find a decapitated poodle head just randomly dispersed or on my pillow, they freaked out. They sent me to psych ward with no one to care for my dogs for like approximately a week to 10 days. And then all of a sudden too, right before I was arrested for the harassing communications issue, and they had been monitoring me, I suppose, I shut off the power to my mobile home. That immediately drew attention to whoever they are, the ones that I talk about, they. And somebody was sent. There were officers sent that exact afternoon that, it didn't take very long from my power being shut off from my home to, them showing up on my lawn stating that I needed to go with them to go to see my bunny and my bear. And I was like, okay, yeah, my ex-husband and my daughter, that makes perfect sense. Was that there? No, they tricked me into going to jail. They've placed me in jail for a warrant and all these things, all these different things. So I don't know what's going on anymore. I think you guys are crazy. I think it's hilarious. That's why the whole audio thing, the issue with that. I had mentioned I kept seeing 333 yesterday. I saw it numerous times randomly on a video, on the microwave, in the car. I saw 1111 yesterday. I'm trying really hard to just stay positive. My psychologist said that this baby was God's baby, not Satan's baby. And I was like, yeah, I know, because it's inside of me at the very least, even though Satan created it. I mean, I still think that Jason's stupid for what he had done. You don't do that. You don't ejaculate in a woman and leave her behind like that unless there was a purpose for it, which when I started talking about the ovulation during dinner, he got kind of antsy to want to go to the Airbnb. So, yeah, I know that this doesn't seem accurate. None of this seems accurate. Why would you want a kid with a complete fucking stranger? And then I realized, oh, I've got all the medical records to prove that I would be good for breeding stock, at the very least. That's sick. That's sick. So, I guess I need to start reading this affidavit. But, and then yesterday, I don't think there's anything else really. Oh, she did mention there at the gynecologist, because I got an appointment there as well. I had 2 appointments yesterday. and she had mentioned that I had ketones in my urine, so I wasn't eating enough, anything that, excuse me, nutritious enough. And there are photos on my Instagram if anybody wants to see some of the foods that I've interacted with, the things that I've been eating lately. And you can tell that I had a lot of processed vegan products. And those don't have a lot of nutrients, although they have protein, they've got whatever they need, you know, but they're not nutritious. You know, real nutrition comes from wholesome and fresh fruits and vegetables and a wholesome diet and a Whole Foods diet in that way. So, and I have no access to a Whole Foods at this time either. It's an hour away. And I'm like, do you not realize how fucked you people make me when we have to also in the next, what, not next week, but the week then thereafter, thereafter, I have to go up 4 hours away. My mother's going to bitch at me for having to sit in the car all that fucking time. We're going to have to get a hotel. It's $100 for the gas. My mother spent 300 and some odd dollars just getting me out of fucking jail through the bond. And bitches at me about how, we don't have finances or anything like that. I'm poor right now. I have barely enough to pay my car insurance. I have still 3 payments of my car payment to pay. And I tried to, remove a few things to think that the payment was going to drop because I removed the extended warranty that was worthless. And no, it didn't drop the payment amount, even though when I initially signed up for my car, it was $300. And then they put it up to $390. And now they're telling me, well, no, the payment will be fine. And then you just have to, it'll come off of the end of it. I'm like, oh, so you're a dumb bitch and you lied to me. And you told me that at any point I could cancel it and the payment would drop. Okay, so you're all a bunch of dumb cunts over at Toyota at Hot Springs. Or Toyota. And the dude that came up to me and started hitting on me and shit when he found out I was homeless invited me over to his fucking Sunbay Resort, little apartment, whatever. You want to have a drink over there? Bitch, you're fucking twice my age, or at least you look like it. Get the fuck away from me. I'm not that desperate. And this was when I first got my vehicle nearly a year and a half ago. So, anyway, and so I'm a bitch. I'm a total bitch. And that's why people are like, holy shit, your pussy's not worth, yeah, it's totally worth more than what you have to offer, bitch. Thanks. So, but anyway, size of my baby's dick right now, like for real. He's already fucking bigger than most people. Like, you people are sick. And it's not that I was looking for, I don't even know the size of Jason. I just knew that at that time it felt gigantic. And that's it. Like, and I know that's sick to talk about, but some of this shit's hilarious to me. Like, I don't mind being so crude. I don't mind being so honest because that's how I perceive it. And why can't I joke around about it? And some people are like, oh my God, that's not ladylike. Did I ever disclose that I was a proper lady? Do you see me in big fluffy dresses and wearing, a bunch of fakery? No, I'm just a girl. I'm just some lady. I'm just whatever. And, well, not a lady. Lady of the night is what I tell people. No, I don't sell myself. You people are shit. I've done it one time with a dude I fucking met online, and I felt terrible after. But no, then I offered $50 because that's all Jason fucking thought I was worth. $50 for gas. So he didn't give me shit. I never got an actual payment for our fucking sex. No. Did I get any help then thereafter? No. And I wasn't seeking to sell myself, you perverts. But that's exactly what they wanted. Because they had monitored me for a while. They knew I wasn't fucking anybody. And that's why they put certain people in my fucking line of fire in that way. Or me in their line of fire. More like. So, you guys are sick. And since there's no father, this is all sort of up in the air. And I even wrote it and disclosed it in my affidavit. So, you people are sick. There was something else I was going to disclose about what I'd mentioned on the video. Something about, hold on. Anyway, and I'm sure it'll come to me later on. Oh, there was a woman there at the gynecologist's office, and she is actually like a caseworker, and she offered to help me to find information toward seeking assistance for this child. Because I told her, I said, I've been looking everywhere. I've asked people, and then I'm avoidant. If they refuse me one time or whatever, I'm avoidant. I don't care anymore. I don't want to seek anything. I'm done. If I'm rejected this many times, then I just don't care anymore. I'm not worth supporting. I'm not worth loving. And I get that. So this baby shouldn't be worth anybody's time either. Nobody should want to adopt it. I keep getting, people's stupid advice about adopting it. My own psychologist, who's known me for 2 years now, 2.5 years, and just because I wasn't around him for a year doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that I went crazy. No, he saw my temperament. He made sure to get me heightenedly aggressive. And what did I do? I cried about it, because that's all I can do, because you people are sick. So, of course, the doctor, my psychologist, had mentioned all this stuff. I have a co-signature section on here so he can co-sign it. And I wrote all of this myself. I spent the 24 hours. I spent approximately 12 hours total actually doing the writing and revisions toward this, and it ended up being 9 pages long, the top of a 9th page. So, and I'm kind of embarrassed because I didn't mean for it to get so in-depth or descriptive, but my psychologist even said when he has to place these things in front of the court, generally they won't read anything that's any longer than a page and a half. So I feel kind of sheepish that I have to explain myself in such a lengthy manner, but I don't feel bad, because at the same time, I feel like, well, that's what I feel. This is what I feel. You need to take a moment to reflect on the way that I feel and what I've written and what I've said. But most people didn't care because they didn't think that I was worth the effort. Just like Jason, with all those fucking millions of messages that I tried to harass him with. And it'll make more sense when I read this to you. Because I wanted him to open up. I wanted him to understand. I wanted him to talk to me when I found out we were pregnant, but no. And now I just want nothing to do with him. I mean, it's been 8 months. I haven't seen this guy. So I don't even know who this guy is. I went through my emotions. I understand. I'm accepting of the future in either way it goes. But that's what I do. I just hold things up in the air moment by moment. That's why I don't get attached to anything fully. That's why when things get removed from me, or things get retracted or redacted, I end up realizing I just have to live without it. I just have to live without these privileges, live without these advantages, live without these comforts, and it's okay. And everybody needs to understand that, because look at the people that are suffering and dying in the other parts of the world, and their leaders aren't taking heed of them at all, because they don't have a way to video themselves. They have no way of reaching out to anybody. The only people that they have are the people that they know face to face, and those people are demonic. Some of these individuals that go starving and hungry in human trafficking, still to this day, in this day and age, sex trafficking, not okay. And the little girls that are still married off, those little girls end up with so many issues then and thereafter, and some of them die during childbirth from having children at such a young age. It's not okay to mistreat other humans like that. It's not okay to violate their bodies. Mine is a very sort of fluffy, frou-frou version of assaults and everything, because that's how it is. I tried to, keep up, maintain myself, because I knew I only had myself, my temple, to protect in that way. I couldn't trust my father. I couldn't trust my brother. I couldn't trust anybody. I couldn't even trust my own mother, because at the time, and everything even now, she's in denial of what goes on so that she doesn't end up getting in trouble, which is true. That's fine. I don't care if you deny it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't factual, my version of the events. It doesn't mean that I should be, I should be talked down to because you're in denial and have issues. So I have issues with my mother even to this day and age, or in this day, because she got messages 2 days ago when I had placed that video, and they were telling her, oh, if Leticia were my daughter, bitch, I'm not your fucking daughter, so don't give my fucking mom advice about whatever. So she got pissed off for an entire day at me and went around vacuuming the house all aggressively. And I was like, did somebody say that I mentioned that on the video? Because she even told me, are you talking about me on your videos? And I was like, well, the normal stuff that you went and got McDonald's, that you're doing shit that, like all this stuff. Your belly has been open for 2 fucking weeks. I mentioned it to everyone. When did she finally get in? Right now, this morning. Did she bother to call? No, she did it yesterday because I harped at her over and over and over again. You need to take care of yourself so that you last long enough to be able to take care of everyone else. She's in a state of depression. She's in a state of denial. I get that. I understand that. I see her sleeping for many hours. She's done it throughout my life. She suffers from mental illness. And people don't want to admit to that. People don't. They really honestly don't. They don't want to believe that there are other people that, have it better than them, or they don't want to, they just want to be in denial. I get that. I understand that. My ex-boyfriend that I had for the couple years after my divorce, all he did was sit around and play video games. He worked at a gas station. I was not seeking money. I was not seeking that. I was seeking companionship and love, true love, or some semblance of fucking sanity, man, because I have none. Jesus Christ. Come on, kitty kitty. Come on, Loki kitty. Don't be crazy, though. Okay. So back to what I was saying. And then I've got to read this affidavit. And that's why I don't care what I do on camera, because they know what I do in the shadows anyway. They know what everyone does in the shadows. So there's really no reason to hide yourself anymore. There's no reason to hide what you're doing or to try to be crazy and shifty and shady in that way. Just be yourself. And if you are shady and shifty, well, then they're going to catch up to you. They're going to, they're going to fuck with you and you're going to end up going crazy regardless. I'm not making this up. You have to appropriate yourself for society so we can all get along finally, because we all are human. We all know too, the animals, they've got souls too. They've got their own being inside of them. They've done enough research. They've dissected enough humans. They've dissected enough animals to know these things. So please, I understand some of the things that I do are maybe not kosher in your perspective, but for me, they are what help me to continue on in this day and age, knowing that I've been manipulated my whole life. Knowing that I've been ignored my whole life for a reason so that I could just progress in this way. And now it goes, my entrepreneurial skills go from one thing to another. I'm not trying to make money off of these videos. My, psychologist, Dr. Carroll, he said, I don't mind if you utilize my name in conjunction with the fact that these are live therapy sessions. The man is a genius, and he's so humble about it as well. He understands that things evolve. He understands. He does research daily on different topics all the time. He's fascinating. He's astounding. And the way that he has conveyed, this worldliness toward me, or, in our sessions, it has affected me in such a manner that I've been able to evolve as well. That I've been able to engage and to be myself and become the woman that I had presumed I was going to be. So inevitably, and he tells me I should get a degree. He says that I'm smart enough. He says that I'm capable enough. But I tell him, where are the finances for these things? In this day and age, people are not looking at all the pictures. People are not looking at all the different facets of my story. Because if I would have had the finances, I would be a doctor already at this point. We all know it. And you'll understand by my wording in my affidavit how I ended up. And I actually am going to stop this video since it's already an hour long. And this is just me ranting. And then I'm going to do the affidavit so that I can discuss just that. So I can have 2 videos to post right now. And it's not that I want people to, watch more of me. I just, I get so consumed with my thoughts. I get so consumed with my story. I get so aggravated at times, and I know I shouldn't, because everything happens for a reason, and I'm here to help others. I'm not here to take from others' realities, aside from those that are taking from others. I'm going to rob from the rich in that way and give to the poor. And, Dr. Carroll had mentioned, if you were to even sell these sessions, and I told him, I said, I don't know where to sell them, doctor. I'm just offering my piece to the world freely because I didn't go after that monetary gain. I didn't go after that lie, that manipulation, because even rich people have so many issues and they don't get allotments like that. They don't get leeway sometimes because they know, or, the people know, officials know that they have a lot of privileges due to their financial status. So I am going to stop this right now, and then I'm going to continue to read that, but I wanted to disclose what had been going on since the audio was tampered with and I wasn't able to share openly with this last video, even though there were so many views on it. And I'm thinking, you guys don't even watch my shit. You just want to mock me. And also, too, another thing I discussed was the fact of how mentally unstable some of these people were that were relaying my story, and how unstable they were in their own lives because they were very unhealthy physically. And that, you can tell when people are physically sick that there's going to be some issues mentally. It's just how it is. Lack of nutrition, lack of proper exercise and blood flow. It's just common sense to me. So, like, there's these really heavy set people that have talked about me, and I'm thinking, bro, if I could sit there and lose 150 pounds, you can lose at least 50. Like, come on now. And you're complaining and bitching and trolling on other people's stuff, and really what you need to do is go walk. And that's why all my videos of me laughing at these trolls. And then I went back and I was deleting a lot of the videos that I saw lately. And, well, not, actually, I reported it for copyright fraud. So a lot of those videos had been removed because they were misleading and obviously harassment toward me. And that's all these trolls do. They have nothing else better to do. And I know that not every troll is an actual troll. They get paid to do so, and they're actually somebody that is sort of an informant for others in the way of trying to persuade others into believing a certain mindset. But you can't. You look like a crackhead. The one girl that does all those videos about me, I'm like, oh my God, that's what you look like? I felt so bad. I was like, girl, no wonder you're aggressive toward me, because not only do you not have the looks, but you don't have the intellect, and you're jealous, and that's why you can continually bash me in that way. Yeah, I know you've stood up and said a few things to try to, what is that sort of, what is the word? Just stand up for me in some senses, but you're not doing any justice to yourself by making yourself look like a troll. Like, that's just all you look like, because people know at a certain point when these bashing videos come out, instead of helping me, instead of helping my story expand, instead of helping others to understand and sharing my story in such a way as like, yeah, this is what the U.S. government's doing to this girl. This is what these locals have done to her. She's pregnant right now. She has no home. This is not a home. This is my mother's home. So, like I told you, the caseworker, and she was telling me about getting on HUD, and I told her the last time I was on HUD and the allotment that they gave me, $475. That wasn't enough to get a place. Everyone I've talked to, that's weird. Why wouldn't they give you enough to support yourself? I wonder. It's kind of a ploy, isn't it, to keep me down, to keep me with nothing, and to make sure I don't excel, because if I were to excel, I'd own the fucking world. So that's kind of funny to me. And my doctor was stating about the amount of views that I've had, and he thought it was only 300. I was like, no, I have 3,000 subscribers so far. And that's actually something he'd never imagined. He never expected or anticipated that I would share myself in such a way, in such a manner that engaged others, that was beneficial and helpful and educational for others. And he said, the fact that I'm capturing the negative as well as the positive, that's what we need to see in this day and age. We don't need to fake everything for everyone, because then they think that they're abnormal. They think that they're crazy. They think that they're less than. We're not less than if we have outbursts. We're actually greater than, because we understand our emotions. and we want to work through them and we want to act them out in that way. So, and like my mother had said at one point, it's no different than people punching pillows and everything too. So, and we understand through therapy, we have to get out these aggressions. We have to get out these toxins that are depleting our mental stability. You know, they're depleting our bodies. And it's insane. The fact that all of these things go on, the fact that you want to harass and haunt me and defile my character when you can't, because in actuality you have no idea the character witnesses that I have on hand that could definitely just be like, you know what, like, you're all wrong. Like, this girl, she's weird. She stays to herself. She talks a lot, and she doesn't want anything to do with anybody because she knows anything could be ripped away at any time. So, was I seeking a true relationship? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because I know that they could end up taking it from me if I'm too comfortable, if I'm too happy. Every few days, I knew that my life was going to be upheaved in that way. And I don't understand why you're doing this to me. You want to see the stress levels. You want to see how much cortisol gets shoved into and pumped into this child. And to understand, too, within me, that I'm still so stable. I still act so stable, no matter all of the aggression, all of these things. But then you saw me acting out, too, on the psychiatric medication. So there's clear proof that that was not beneficial for me. And the only thing that has helped me in a positive manner is smoking medicinal marijuana, even during pregnancy, because it's helped me to stabilize my moods and stabilize my hormonal fluctuations, all of it. And none of you can say anything, because in actuality, this has happened for thousands of years. And yet all of a sudden it's illegal to do in this day and age, like illegal to abort a baby. So now you want back alley abortions to happen. And with coat hangers and everything, you want the women dead. That's what you want. If they're not going to breed for you, they should die. That's sad. That is sick. And I know that that's exactly why they stopped the abortions from happening, because they want as many new lives born, because they had so many die off during COVID, and they had to kill off a certain portion because they were all sickly, and now we have to try to repopulate with healthier offspring, because that's how the world works. That's how it's happened for thousands of years. So only the strong will survive. And I have no idea why I'm even pregnant right now, because in actuality, that's not something I was seeking. And I sure as fuck wasn't seeking it if I didn't have a partner. And I sure as fuck don't want to be messed with a partner either. So I know that even with the shit that you guys tell my mom, you know, it causes enough problems. And I just have to deal with it. I have to swallow everything and realize, oh my God, like, my mom's pissed because her shit's out there. She never thought it would ever be just, you know, exposed, that, you know, all this stuff happened. And I'm like, bitch, please. Like, it says it in all my records. Like, for real. Like, this shit was going to get out regardless. My child was going to find out about it in some way or another. I had mentioned, you know, I love you, Tara. Yes, I know I make these videos for her and to help share my story in this time, so that at some point she can witness, holy shit, my mom, like, she lived through so much fucking hell, through my dad, through his family, through her own family, through the medical, you know, assistance she was getting, all these places, and instead I have nothing to offer her yet. I have no way to maintain this child. Another thing too, the Amazon wish list, like I was trying to disclose, one person went through and marked them all as purchased so that I couldn't have anybody else purchase these items for me. And at first I thought, oh my God, maybe it's a rich person. Oh my God, maybe this person is actually going to give me these things. How weird. And then I realized it was just a troll that had accessed my account. And I have not received any of the items that they had stated that they purchased. And all they have to do is place them in carts. And I know that things could get tampered with at any time. Did I presume you would do that to a woman that's pregnant and seeking help and seeking some type of financial stability for her child? No, I didn't assume that. I didn't presume that you'd be that heartless, callous, mentally ill. So this guy, I don't know, because like I've not gotten any responses. The moment I went through and removed it and said that they were unpurchased, the following day they were all purchased again in that way. And it's not that they're trying to help me. A majority of the time, they're trying to hurt me. They're trying to say, oh, you want this nice thing? You want this nice juicy thing? Or you want this nice material belonging? You can't have it. They'll get you hyped up though, and they'll be like, here, it's right here. It's right here for you. It's right here. Like all these all these ads and everything. It's right here. We purchased all of those baby items. We've got them all waiting for you. And then I'm like, oh, really? Really? I'm ready to nest. Where am I supposed to put it? Where am I supposed to put these things? Oh, I'm waiting. Never does it show up. Never does any of it happen. Never do I get that nice, juicy, or materialistic belonging, in that way. So I know not to expect to even be able to keep this child, because in actuality, I don't have the finances, I don't have the material belongings I need to afford or keep this child in this day and age. Or everyone would be like, she has no car seat? Oh my God. Yeah, you didn't afford me one. I'm sorry. I was fucking raped and all of a sudden I have nothing. So how am I supposed to finance this kid? That's why it's hilarious to me. You guys think that you're getting to me. In reality, I know never to expect anything because my parents taught me that at a very early age. They were like always gaslighting me. And even to this day, still gaslighting me. All these men gaslighting me. Jason Wallace inviting me over for a safe place. Gaslighting. You did it on purpose. You did it on fucking, you knew what you were gonna fucking do. You knew the fucking moment you met me that you were gonna take advantage of me. And that's sick. Men don't think the same. My psychologist even told me that we have different DNA within us. So men don't start feeling that compassion toward things until they're, grandparents or in their 50s. Genetically, it's just not there. We have that, we have that advancement within the women to have that mothering so that we can, support our offspring. But he even clarified, he was like, well, within men's DNA, it's normal for them to run off. Is it normal? Yes. Is it sane? No. Is it normal, like, to do all these things? Quite possibly. But then, like I said, in actuality, it's fucking deranged. So if we haven't evolved to this point to have both sort of aspects of the spectrum of nurturing and also the aggression, or, if we haven't balanced ourselves out, then there is nothing. So I didn't want to breed with any of these fucking rejects over here on Earth. Because I'm thinking like, ew. Like, ew? Like, I'm already a reject enough to these individuals. No fucking thanks. So, yeah. I don't understand people anymore. I don't understand how stupid you people are sometimes. Like, how do you not see this shit going on right under your nose? And, man, I'm telling you, everything I talk about, spot on, bitch, spot on. So, yeah, I ended up, like, within this entire thing, just opening up so much to the world around me. And I know not to ask for too much. I know not to ever expect too much. So even when I was making that list, I had presumed random people were going to start sending me gifts because if they had the money. If they had the money, if they wanted to donate to someone that's poor, if they wanted to donate to to somebody that's been abused. And this is my true story. I haven't gotten any compensation. I don't have millions or billions. I have like $20 in the bank. Not even. And that's because I was able to keep it from going overdraft this month, but it's been overdrafting since December. So, and it's now July. So you're going to tell me that I can't sustain? That God doesn't love me? God loves me for sure. He doesn't love you people that are fucking with me. He doesn't love you people that are abusing and harassing me. He doesn't love you. And you know that, and that's why you harass me more. Because I'm more privileged than you, because the universe loves me more, because it's been granting me wishes without your consent. That's sad and sick and very, very questionable. Like, you need to go seek some therapy and some true mental, like, cognitive behavioral therapy, for sure. You need to get some of these things, retracted, or I'm not saying, okay, removed from your life in that way. You need to get a lot of this stuff taken away so you can have a timeout. Because honestly, I'm done. I'm so sick of suffering for you individuals. Like, I'm so sick and tired of this. And for what? So that you can have your entertainment for the day? So you can have your entertainment for the week? Whatever. You guys are hilarious. You think I don't fucking see you. You think I don't fucking know. And there are times where I meet you face to face, and you presume I don't know you. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Like, why do you think that I'm so hesitant? Why do you think I'm so quiet? Why do you think I don't even offer you my thoughts toward it entirely until later? So, yeah, I would love to see what happens next, and I can't wait. I cannot wait for you to dig your own graves. And not in a good way, because, like the universe and the flow, and you're going to have to suffer tenfold. Wow. Like, I feel bad for you. I would repent. Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm saying, but not saying. If you're under the guise of all this other bullshit, I do the sign of the cross, but I believe in all versions of God, because God is creation. God is everything. If you want to say that it's mostly Christian, go for it. But there's a lot of Christian hypocrites out there, and I don't denounce that whatsoever. Like, I own that. Like, there are so many hypocrites. I've done hypocritical things. It's a contradiction. This world is a contradiction. So that's why I was writing my novel, but I didn't get that far because they were like, fuck it. So even this is 5,000 words. 5,000 fucking words that I wrote in the span of a day. And I guess I could write novels. I guess. I mean, you only need a certain amount in order to have a book. This is essentially a third of a book. And so, yeah. Anyway, hopefully we'll get down to the bottom of this, and I won't have to make these stupid ass videos anymore, and I can just be myself in, isolation or something, because the more I interact with the world around me, the more that they just gaslight me, the more that they try to just build up my hopes just to drop me, just so that they can abuse me more. And they love this. They love seeing that. They love seeing people freak out and get angry over stupid shit, because they're like, what is worth it? Nothing. I'd rather be dead right now. What are you talking about? Like, I already know there's nothing good happening. Even at the end of this, I signed it off and I said forebodingly yours, as opposed to sincerely. And he wanted me to alter that, and that was it. That was the only alteration to that he wanted before he would finish signing it. And then I'll get that done by next week, and hopefully I'll keep myself out of prison. Bitch, please. I should be suing the fucking entire state and the entire fucking U.S. government. So true. And nobody wants to pick up a case like that because they're like, well, we don't know who you are. Here are thousands of hours. Here are thousands of hours of who you fucking deal with. Here's thousands of hours of me not doing anything nefarious. Thousands of hours. Let's see how this works for everyone. We'll see. We'll see how this works. Because we all know damn well Leticia's not a fucking liar. So, yeah. Anywho. Today is July 12th, 2022. Leticia Collins Servin. I hope everybody does have a blessed week and a blessed and healthy, just everything. And I do pray for that lady with her babies. Believe me, it's sad. But there is some hint of jealousy there, a twinge of jealousy, because 44,000 views. I'm blonde and pretty. Look at me. Like, I have nothing. The loss of a baby or two. Oh my God, it's the worst thing I've ever gone through. I've lost 3, bitch. You can survive. You'll be okay. Like, your pretty ass will get over it. You got plenty of riches. You get paid a shit ton from YouTube, probably. I don't get that much. I barely had $500 extra last month, and I'm thinking, do you realize how much I sustain myself on couponing and just clearance items and sale items? You people are sick and stupid and distorted, and I can manage it if you give me anything. If you give me a penny, I'd be able to manage. No joke. So yeah, anyway, but yeah, this is how it goes. I pray to God this ends soon. I have no idea what the fuck is going on, and all I keep doing is getting harassed. And I'm thinking, like, I feel bad for those people. Like, I hope that you feel okay. I hope I'll pray for you. Like, losing twins or whatever, pray for my babies. Yeah, I'm sorry. If they die, then that was God saying, like, they just didn't need to be born right now. And you're not the right person right now. So swallow your tears, and that's how it goes. And the same thing with what happened with my babies. And the same thing that happened with, they allowed my ex-husband to steal my Tootsie. And you're going to tell me, oh my God, you POSs are crazy. Like, I was the only one maintaining that Tootsie. I was the only one taking care of that Tootsie. And she was the sweetest little Tootsie. And that's why she was stolen. And I feel like the same thing, human trafficking within my case, because I'm thinking, like, you allowed this shit to happen? You didn't care about the mother's psychological well-being. You didn't care about her physical well-being. You just wanted to steal her Tootsie and give her away. Fuck no. Y'all can eat my shit. I love you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And the next film or video I do is going to be me reading the affidavit. Everyone have a good day. I love you. Bye-bye.